All right, y'all. It's been a while, but we back in action. Right now, we looking at the United States natal chart. The inner circle is the natal chart. The outer circle is the present transits. As we can see, Mars is retrograde in the United States seventh house of war and allies. Mars is going to be conjunct Mars, and it's already conjunct Mars, but it'll be in an exact conjunction in about 6 days. Uh, More importantly, I like to reflect on the fact that we are getting ready for a powerful, powerful lunar eclipse in the United States fifth house. The fifth house rules investments, uh, bankers, stock, lottery. As you can see, the Powerball is at almost $2 billion. This is insane. This is insane right now. I really love it. I'm excited about it. Uh, Look here, man. So I want to talk about this lunar eclipse because that's the main reason I'm on here. So I'm gonna pop up this screen over here. Uh, let's see if we can't pop this down over here and show you the eclipse. Stretch this out a bit over here. Hopefully this is cool and you guys can see this. Widen it up a little bit more. And then we're going to click right here. As you can see, this is the lunar eclipse. This is going to show the shadow of the eclipse for November 8, 2022. Bam. Check it out. The eclipse is moving almost the entire eastern part of the United States, northern, covering most of Central America and the northern part of South America, all of Africa, the western half of Australia, New Guinea, all of Asia Minor, India, the Middle East, and Europe. This is all in the shadow of this eclipse in Taurus. This is what's going to happen. It's going to be major financial shifts. Some can be collapses, some can be, things are, because the eclipse is in Taurus. You're going to see a lot of investments fail. A lot of stock markets crashing and things like that, and a lot of new economies being built. Because opposite of Taurus is Scorpio, which brings the destruction and transformation. Because the solar point, the sun, is in Scorpio, a lot of things are going to be revealed about, economic manipulation, economic control of the world, things like that. And it's going to affect all of these countries that you're currently seeing in this area are going to be affected by this. As you can see, there's some pockets in the nations that aren't going to be as dramatically affected. But when you're looking at this, you're seeing every major economy in the world almost being rocked or powered up by this eclipse. Unfortunately, it's going to dramatically affect the United States. It's going to affect war. The full moon lunar eclipse, the war that you're seeing, it's about resources. It's about, controlling the resources of the world. It's not a game, and it's going to get, the changes that we need in order to bring about a new type of society, because what we're currently under is not working. Apparently, we can clearly see that, no matter what race or religion you are. So this eclipse is going to bring a lot of chaos and financial transformation. I say chaos because when we shrink this down to look back at the United States natal chart, we're looking at the United States fifth house. The fifth house, it rules, It rules bonds, it rules stocks, it rules bankers, investors, things like that. And the eclipse is going to be conjunct Uranus and the North Node by transit, which means it's a lot of energy that's going to shake things up and make things, transition to a new way. Um, Again, it's coming. The good thing about it for the United States and the citizens of the United States is that this eclipse right here is going to be in between Uranus and the North Node is going to make a nice, trine, not trine, but a sextile to the sun. The sun rules, foreign people. It rules spiritual people, higher education. So as the people in control, because the eclipse, the solar point of the eclipse is going to be in 11th house, which rules Congress, it rules legislators, Senate, and things like that. There will be people, wealthy people, knowledgeable people, who can help clean up this mess that these elected officials are creating and will continue to create. Again, the solar point of the eclipse is happening in the sign of Scorpio in the United States 11th house, and this rules foreign affairs and things like that. And this the solar point, the solar point, it's gonna highlight a lot of spy stuff, a lot of stuff because it's in Scorpio. Be aware that a lot of underhanded criminal behavior of legislators, politicians, and things like this are about to be exposed. They're about to be exposed in a way that could send this whole nation into a disarray. Is serious business. But if this happens in a timely fashion, it'll cause a little bit of chaos, but it'll cause the chaos that's necessary for us to take control of our own, destiny, elect and put people in the office that are really going to put, the people's interest in the collective of all of humanity at the forefront, not, corporate greed, commercial greed, or, religious greed. And greed, it isn't just about money, it's about hoarding power and resources and all things like that. The sign of Scorpio is a sign that brings transformation and destruction. So you have to be aware of that, man. You have to be aware of that. There's a lot going on in the United States chart right now. As you can see, we're at the Pluto return. Pluto has went direct as of October 8th. And it's moving back into a conjunction with Pluto. It's now, moving into an opposition with the part of fortune. And our part of fortune in the United States is in the 8th house of resources of others. The 2nd house from the 7th, which means it rules the money of allies and the wealth and abundance of resources of allies and partners. This nation has bitten off more than it can chew. It's bitten off more than it can chew, and they're about to find out. It's in the stars. This isn't my personal bias or opinion. That's what the chart's saying. That's what the chart's saying, man. And this lunar eclipse, like I said, being in the sign of Taurus, it gives you an opportunity to really, get your finances together in whatever area is landing in your chart. If you have Taurus in your 9th house, it's time to get your, resources together and your spiritual, your resources that deal with your faith and higher levels of education. If it's in your, 10th house, the eclipse falls in your 10th house, it has to do with your career. The solar point has to do with your career. If Scorpio sun is in your 10th house, wherever the sun is at in your chart during this eclipse. So if your sun is at, in Scorpio in the 11th, the focal point, the things that are the power point, the favor is going to be in the 11th house, even though the eclipse is occurring in the 5th house.